So, folks, we have to talk about what's going on in Trump world, because there's a guy named Donald J. Trump, and he is, he's trying to become an authoritarian, but, like, in the laziest way possible. By which I mean he's, like, delegating a bunch of tasks to a bunch of unskilled lackeys to try and do his bidding, in a way, like, really emulating some kind of old school stereotypical RPG where the main powerful bad guy just, like, has a bunch of dundering oafs under his control, and one by one they get sent out to stop, the protagonists, only to fail comedically, right? That's kind of where we're at right now. Because, like, these people are, they're trying to, like, put their foot on the gas, right? There's obviously concerns about, like, Donald Trump's health. There's obviously concerns that he's not doing so hot. Notably, and I don't think we talked about this the other day, but notably he's going in for his second yearly physical, as in he's already had his once per year physical, and now he's getting a bonus physical early, as one does when things are going well for you. So basically, and the question would be, why is he going in? And the answer that the White House has supplied is he's getting an extra one. Basically, guys, what we've been able to kind of glean from his public slooping is he's having mini seizures. He's got circulation issues. We all saw his hands swelling up and his calves swelling up. He's also got, like, some kind of IV that is being routinely put into his hand, and that could be related to heart issues. There is a lot going on with this guy, and he is not okay.
I did so good on my physical that they gave me a second one, the best of any sitting president.
Yeah, look, they're putting out there that, like, his heart is as healthy as a 65-year-old. And it's just like, we're not buying it, because we can see him, man. Like, he's not doing great. All I have to say about this is that I think he's on the way out. It's why he's obsessed with the Nobel Peace Prize. It's why he's been talking about heaven and the afterlife and how he'll do there. It's why he's talking... it's why he took it so personally today that he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, and he's just been raging at everyone. It's crazy. But not only that, he has to go in, right? So he gives other people control over vast swaths of the country. And we're kind of seeing this solidify in a number of interesting ways. Specifically, a story dropped today about Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller accidentally says "I" when discussing Trump's powers, which is very interesting. The actual quote is, Illinois governor says we're provoking actions that are unlawful. Why would the mere presence, just think about this for a second, if I put federal law enforcement and National Guard into a nice sleepy southern town, is anyone gonna riot? So, while he's talking about what the president can do, Stephen Miller is talking about, him doing the troop deployments. And in case y'all are wondering if Stephen Miller can do that, the answer is no. The answer is actually, if Stephen Miller is giving orders to direct military troops, he is in fact doing so illegally. And that is a pretty huge issue, right? Because this man has been going on television for the last few days talking about how the president has plenary powers, basically asserting, like, total and complete power over certain actions, right? But if it's not actually the president who even has those in his own construction, but some toady like Miller, we're in some pretty deep shit. Yeah, he cannot do that. And if he's forging like the president's signature or something in order to put those orders out, that's a pretty big issue. So all of that being said, we've got all these signs of failing, aging, meat hardware, but this administration, this regime is running into the brutal realities of actually trying to do authoritarianism. Because there are a few big problems if you want to be an authoritarian in the United States. And one of the big problems is that this country has been, despite all of the propaganda for decades, despite all of that, there is a fundamental idea of freedom that rejects dictators and authoritarians and tyrants. There is a fundamental ethos that is antithetical to what they are doing, and that is why you are starting to see all kinds of people from across the political spectrum being activated to go out to these protests, right? This is exactly why it's resonating with folks. This is why you're seeing, milquetoast liberal wine moms suddenly, carrying the torches of Lady Liberty and calling for the storming of the Bastille, right? That's what, there's clearly something that resonates here. And part of the issue is that, the Trump administration is economically giving nothing to the vast majority of people. So people are economically under hardship, right? And not only that, the administration is just gleefully, rubbing their hands together and, gloating over their escalating attempts to seize power, and they're doing it in public, right? Here's a Wall Street Journal piece from today. Trump, feeling emboldened, pushes agenda into higher gear. And if you read through this, it's truly incredible, right? There are obviously a bunch of bad developments, coming through with tariffs. Trump wants to put a 100% tariff on China now, because China's shifting things around with their rare earth metals and amping up the pressure on the United States that wants to use those rare earth metals to build server farms for AI. But this was very interesting. Inside the White House, top advisors joke that they are ruling Congress with an iron fist, according to people who've heard the comments. Steve Bannon, the influential Trump ally, likened Congress to the Duma, the Russian assembly that is largely ceremonial. When senior White House aide Stephen Miller recently held a party at the exclusive Ned's Club to celebrate his 40th birthday, House Speaker Mike Johnson showed up to honor Miller, the people said. They're just openly gloating about it. Yeah, all circus, no bread, and that doesn't work. That absolutely doesn't work. And so we're seeing just this disgusting display, behavior and ideology completely antithetical to the very idea of America, at least as commonly believed in modern times. And that is going to be a real barrier to them succeeding in this authoritarian mission. Another thing that's going to be a real barrier in their attempts to succeed here is that I gotta tell you guys, every day now, it is monstrous stories of abuse at the hands of ICE, at the hands of Border Patrol. It is crazy. There was a story that came out today out of Houston, missing teen with autism reportedly in ICE custody. So what happened here was a 15-year-old autistic boy wandered off from home, went out to play, never came home. His parents wound up calling the police, and after a long and grueling search, they found out that ICE had literally just rolled up and kidnapped this 15-year-old autistic child. It's crazy. Here.
So a 15-year-old boy, autistic, who was believed to be missing, has actually been in ICE custody for several days. Fox 26's Jillian Hartman is live in Spring Branch, where the boy was last seen almost a week ago. And you just got an update from the family the past 30 minutes. What did they have to tell you, Jillian?
Yeah, this boy's been missing for a week. Like, ICE is literally just snatching up children. Like they're fucking bagmen from Bloodborne.
Yes, we learned that the boy is in ICE custody at one of the detention centers here in Houston. The mom says that he is safe and okay. Now, the boy was here at this intersection in Spring Branch with his mom and sister selling fruit when he disappeared. And here's the information we just learned in the last 30 minutes. Take a look at this. So the boy has autism and is sometimes nonverbal, and he disappeared last Saturday. He's 15 years old, but his social worker says he has the mindset of a 4 to 5 year old. So they were very worried about his safety. The mom said around 3 p.m. on October 4, she was with a customer selling fruit when her son asked her to use the restroom, and when she turned around, he was gone. Now, they filed a missing person report with Houston police, and earlier today, FL Houston held a press conference with the family begging for the public's help to find him. Now, today, police notified the family that the boy was found safe. FL Houston said a law enforcement agency found him, and he's been at the Office of Refugee Resettlement Children's Detention Center since Monday. The family is undocumented, and
they threw a non-verbal disabled child into a prison camp. These kinds of stories aren't going to go away. They're only going to intensify. You know, like, this is just monstrous. I mean, like, we haven't even talked about one of the worst stories. You all remember we talked about the South Shore raid in Chicago a couple days ago. The Chicago Sun-Times has been doing some excellent reporting on this, and I highly recommend everyone go check out this particular article here. I'm going to link it in chat. Because this is, I mean, this is some just absolutely fucked shit, frankly. And you should share this wherever you can, because basically this article is the story of a man who lives in this apartment complex that got raided by, you know, hundreds of these heavily armed men. And as the raid was happening, he got like furious knocks on his door, not from ICE, but from a woman and her 7-year-old daughter who were terrified out of their minds. Keep in mind that during this raid, they were pulling naked children out of the apartment complex. And putting them into U-Hauls, right? We're talking like some actual brown shirt shit. We're talking like these people are fascists, and when this is done, they need to see the inside of a jail cell. I mean, this man sheltered them for several days to make sure that no one abducted them. No, ICE did not spirit away this 7-year-old. And her mother. The 7-year-old hid crying under his bed. Like, this is disgusting. Just one excerpt. "I didn't want them to take her," said the man, who didn't want to be named because he fears he'll be targeted by federal authorities for his actions, which is a completely valid fear to have, right? This administration absolutely would target him. "I gave her my bedroom, and I just told her, stay there, don't open, don't, shh. Just stay quiet," he recalled telling the mom and daughter as he choked back tears. At one point, he went outside to check on things. He said ICE shouted at him to, quote, "Shut my door, get the fuck inside, and don't open my door again." The man knew this mother and daughter from bumping into them several times in the building's laundry room. And yeah, it's bad. It's quite bad and sick and disgusting. And I I'm running out of words to really capture this event. And this stuff radicalizes people. These types of stories, they motivate people to take action. So please share that article around from the Chicago Sun-Times, because we need to motivate more and more people to stand up and do the right thing, to stand up and actually turn out to protest, stand up and actually help their neighbors. We need more of that. We need more of that, because it is only that solidarity that is going to see us through. Now, another thing that is working against the Trump administration is the fact that they just don't give a fuck.
Russell Vogt said the reductions in force have begun related to this shutdown. How many layoffs have you authorized for this first round, and from which agencies?
And it'll be Democrat-oriented, because we figure, they started this thing, so they should be Democrat-oriented. It'll be a lot, and we'll announce the numbers over the next couple of days, but it'll be a lot of people, all because of the Democrats. I mean, they want to give $1.5 trillion to people that came to the country illegally. More important than that.
Just a couple of things, right? One, just because there's a government shutdown doesn't mean you need to fire people. It has never necessitated that once in the history of government shutdowns. Number two, the idea that Democrats want $1.5 trillion for undocumented immigrants when undocumented immigrants can't get Medicaid. So they're fighting for $1.5 trillion for Americans to continue getting the same level of healthcare that they had before, which wasn't great. These are just lies. Every single word out of this man's mouth, out of his peons' mouths, are lies. Mass layoffs are not going to make this administration more popular or beloved. And neither are the service slowdowns that these mass layoffs are going to necessitate, because the government cannot simply fire tens of thousands of people and continue to function as normal. Like, it doesn't work that way. People are needed to do the work. All of these things that I'm trying to point out to you guys are reasons that people are going to mobilize against this regime. Whether it's the, frankly, overtly fascist kidnappings, or like just the intentionally cruel separations of families, or the, mass economic devastation, or the, frankly, what is going on with military families.
The government is targeting people for termination based solely on their political party? Isn't that a giant violation of free speech?
Yes. And they are claiming that they're going to fire only Democrats, but that's also a lie, because they're firing people basically at random, right? So in a way, they're not violating free speech. They're just saying they're going to violate free speech, but they're firing Republicans, Democrats, independents, etc. Like, they are not discriminating based on, their political affiliation, right? And one of the ways you can kind of tell that isn't the case is that if this administration was actually discriminating against Democrats and favoring Republicans, you wouldn't see economic policies like this go into effect.
As I take a step aside here, there is quite a bit of military members and their families in line because of this government shutdown. We're in day 9 of it, and they're here for a food pantry. There's all sorts of food that is available, and I spoke with some military member spouses, and I spoke with some department heads here at the ASYMCA on why this is so important. What's the difference in the amount of people that you've seen from today to previously?
So when we first started coming, there definitely wasn't this amount of people. It was a lot, but it wasn't this amount to where it wrapped around the building. But lately it has been a lot. Like, we were here last week and we were in line for like 2 hours.
In a normal week, we usually run out of food about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Last week we ran out of food about 10:30.
As I take a
So in case any of you are not on the ball on what exactly this means, it means that, the Trump administration has recreated bread lines because the members of our military can't afford to feed themselves or their families. This is, well, let me put it this way. If you're trying to do an authoritarian coup and overthrow democracy and, institute a dictatorship of some kind, you need the military on your side, and forcing them to wait multiple hours to get food is not going to win you over rank and file soldiers. And the issue is that, like, Republicans have served as a roadblock to this, right? People know that Republicans are a roadblock to this. This is why we saw the other day Mike Johnson was taking a call from a military spouse who blamed him accurately for keeping the House out of session. This is not something that one does if they have a winning strategy to consolidate the military, right? And another thing, and I think this is a big tell. I think the administration has kind of shown their hand a bit here, which is that they are now attacking the No Kings protest on October 18th, which every single one of you should go to, okay? Every single one of you should go to this, specifically because the administration is attacking it. Here is Representative Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, talking about it.
I'll turn it back over to the leader. We take some questions, but we've heard, and many of you have reported already, this Hate America rally that they have coming up for October 18th. The Antifa crowd and the pro-Hamas crowd and the Marxists, they're all going to gather on the mall. We got some House Democrats selling T-shirts for this event. It is an outrageous gathering for outrageous purposes, but the Democrats in the Senate have shown that they're...
Look, just real quick. Look at his like grin. He can't, like, he's lying through his teeth to such a degree that he like can't suppress a smile. Like, he's on the one hand trying to say that this is going to be a gigantic gathering of like Antifa Marxist terrorists, and like he's saying this is an imminent thing that is going to happen in a week, and he's just smiling like a weaselly little turd.
And they want to get rid of the commissary? That already has groceries sold at a lower cost and without sales tax for military families. That's practically guaranteeing breadlines infinitely.
Yeah, Lily loves stuff. I totally forgot about that story from the other day. But yeah, the Republicans want to essentially like end the military commissary so that like members of the military can no longer buy groceries on military bases. It's not going to make them very many friends. Okay? Yeah, also, understand the reason Mike Johnson is attacking the No Kings protests that are going to happen on October 18th. Again, something every one of you should go to, and every one of you should get your friends and family to go to alongside that, right? But the reason they're attacking it is because they are terrified of what it will signal from the American public. Because it essentially makes the polling data real. And we have an opportunity to show how many of us disagree with what this regime is doing. Okay? Not just members, military retirees have access to PX and commissary and live off fixed incomes. True, Eric McKetton, my bad. What is happening here is that they are scared of October 18th because of how deeply it could undermine their ability to project power and project this image of authoritarian, uniparty, right?
Obviously, they want to cut commissary because the military can't afford it with their limited budget.
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. It is just plain simple. They are afraid. They are unambiguously afraid. Here's another clip of another a member of the House, I believe. No, Senator. Senator Roger Marshall. Here we go.
And then October 18th is when the protest gets here. This will be a Soros paid for protest where his professional protesters show up, the agitators show up. We'll have to get the National Guard out. Hopefully it'll be peaceful. I doubt it as well. So I think that they have to get that march done. They have to show their protest. They have to fight like they're saying here. This is all a political show. It's all a political scam right now. This is shooting. And then October.
Again, they have to try and frame it as, oh, it's a bunch of scary Antifa Marxist super soldiers, but also it's all paid for by George Soros and it doesn't really matter because it's just a show. Except that the reason they are trying to undermine the credibility of the protests is because they know that these protests are on track to be even bigger than the first No Kings, which was already one of the largest civil rights demonstrations in modern US history, right? And so they want shit to go south during these protests. They want it really badly. But also, they're afraid of it because it has the potential to go so much worse for them. Because if they start firing live rounds into a crowd, guess what? They are going to be destroyed. Like, they're going to be destroyed. And if they try to say, oh, well, you know, it might have been one of the largest mass demonstrations in US history, but it's all paid for, it's going to ring ridiculously hollow. It undermines their credibility and legitimacy. Okay? And it does because, like, the people who are turning out to these protests are, like, mild-mannered school teachers and, like, I don't know, dump truck drivers and, you know, like your local fruit vendors. You know, they're people. They're just people. And the more of us that stand in solidarity together on that day, the better it's going to be for all of us. Because people are going to be hurt by this administration, and the longer it takes us to come together, the more people are going to be hurt, right? And I think that the organizers behind No Kings understand the power dynamics at play here. Here is their official statement that they put out. Today, House Speaker Mike Johnson blamed the peaceful No Kings Day of Action on October 18th for the ongoing government shutdown. After a few moments of laughter, the No Kings Coalition issued the following statement. Speaker Johnson is running out of excuses for keeping the government shut down. Instead of reopening the government, preserving affordable healthcare, or lowering costs for working families, he's attacking millions of Americans who are peacefully coming together to say that America belongs to its people, not to kings. We'll see everyone on October 18th. All No Kings events adhere to a shared commitment to nonviolent protest and community safety. Organizers are trained in de-escalation and are working closely with local partners to ensure peaceful and powerful actions nationwide. And this is, again, why it is so effective for people to turn up in, like, these inflatable frog suits. You know, like, Donald Trump earlier today went out and tried to paint, like, the protests against ICE as these unrelentingly violent events, right? Here he is.
Problem. Or Portland, Oregon. I mean, every time I look at that place, the place is burning down. There's fires all over the place. When a store owner, there are very few of them left, but when a store owner rebuilds a store, they build it out of plywood, and they don't put up storefronts anymore. They just put wood up because they know it's going to be ripped down. And then I hear how wonderful it is. It's not wonderful. It's a disaster. That's almost an insurrection, that place. So
yeah, I forgot about the plywood district of Portland, Oregon. You know, you all are familiar, right? The famous parts of Portland that have been torn down by Antifa super soldiers so many times. They're only made out of plywood. Like, I'm sorry, just, like, stop and think about that for, like, 1 second, and it's, like, just on the face of it, it's stupid as hell, right? But this is the image he wants to put out there, that, like, oh, it's a violent place on the verge of insurrection. You know, it's basically burning down so often, we have to occupy it with the military. And, you know, like, again, it's really undermined by the fact that, like, the people who are turning out to protest are these people in frog costumes, you know? And I just For the record, you can get them off of off of the internet for like $30, and I got one, and it's gonna be here in time for the October 18th protest. So I would encourage you all to maybe look into buying a fun inflatable suit with some expedited shipping. All right, but also just a little update. Nicholas Smith, the artist behind the Portland Frog picture many of you are familiar with here, released this. He made a bunch of different figures standing up to ice in inflatables and wheelchairs and varying ages. And like, I'm sorry, this is the kind of energy we need. This is the fucking, like, yeah, no, this is actually like some fucking One Piece ass energy, all right? And we all need to embrace that energy, okay? Like, be silly, be non-threatening, make the protest fun, but also understand that when you go, you are doing something vitally important. Just because it's fun doesn't make it less important. Just because people are coming together and working for, the betterment of one another's lives doesn't mean you can't have fun doing it. So, folks, the administration is threatening the No Kings protest on October 18th. Make no mistake about that. They are trying to intimidate people away from attending the protest. They do not want you to go. And I think for no other reason than that, you should go. Like, even if the administration wasn't doing the, just endless sea of terrible things it is doing, you should go just to oppose it on principle. Just because they don't want you to exercise your free speech rights. So, folks, go over to nokings.org. If there isn't an event within 30 minutes of you, you can register your own event and get other people in your local area to come to yours. That is the goal. Right now, there are more places organizing than there were during the first No Kings protest by a wide margin. And the hope is that we are going to see an even bigger protest. Last time, I believe it was around 5 or 6 million. Let's do even better. Let's get all the friends, all the family out there. Let's get some barbecues going. Let's get some like protest barbecues going. Let's get some like protest music going, protest dance going. Because these people desperately want to LARP out. This administration desperately wants to LARP out that it is like this authoritarian superpower that can crush any dissent. And that's why they come out every day dressed like they are going to war. And it's much harder to go to war against a bunch of people in inflatable silly suits, dancing, having a good time, and eating good food. It's just harder for the narrative to go the way they want it to go. And that doesn't mean don't take it serious, but take having fun at the protest seriously. Because the protest is serious. I'm gonna wear my Yoshi onesie? Hell yeah. That's what we need. This is the energy we need right now. And y'all, we need to deliver it. So join me on October 18th, No King's Day. Let's get out on the streets and make our voices heard, because this administration has plugged its ears for too long, and we need to bring down the walls of Jericho. Let's get to work. And if you like this segment, like, comment, and subscribe. Do the thing, do the thing that helps the show, and maybe consider dropping some subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc., because you guys make this show possible. Couldn't do it without your support.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the scenes. Politics, dating, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.